This episode is brought to you by Hunt Hickory Creek. And new to Hunt Hickory Creek this year is their Central Kansas Lodge. They're going to be running hunters from the end of October all the way through January, and their main hunting area is located between Quivira National Refuge and Cheyenne Bottoms. Central Kansas is a special place for waterfowl hunting, and during the peak migration, those refuges hold hundreds of thousands, if not close to millions of ducks and geese at a time. Mainly specklebelly, snow, and lesser Canada geese, mallards, pintails, and widgeon. You may have an opportunity to harvest all of these species in one hunt. You'll be very comfortable every morning in their Avian X A-frame blinds or laying on backboards, and they hunt over 1,200 of the industry's finest decoys. So visit their website at www.hunthickorycreek.com for booking information and follow them throughout the year on Facebook and Instagram. And don't miss your opportunity at a hunt of a lifetime with Hunt Hickory Creek. If you're going to hunt Kansas, hunt Hickory Creek. Welcome to the Fowl Front Outdoors Waterfowl Podcast, where our goal is to recruit and educate new hunters while entertaining the rest of you. Without new hunters and the mentorship of those more seasoned, this passion as we know it faces an uncertain future. So get the word out, turn the volume up, and enjoy the show, because you're on the Fowl Front. And support for today's show is also provided by Grip Pack Calls. Now, we want to take some time to talk about our 4th of July week giveaways before we get into the episode. Now, we're doing all the giveaway videos live inside the Fowl Front Waterfowl Podcast group, and we'll be doing the giveaway announcements the entire week. So, there's been a slight amount of confusion on how it's all going down, but the bottom line is this. This giveaway is to show our appreciation for you listening in the last couple months while we've gotten started and been working out some kinks, switching some things up, and generally just to thank you all for sticking us out and to help us grow, honestly, and to be able to reach new listeners and new hunters. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to list all the giveaways that we have coming up. Obviously, the first and foremost is Hunt Hickory Creek is giving away a 3-day 4-night Central Kansas waterfowl hunting package. Now, in order to qualify for this one, you have to have liked the stickied post at the top of our Fowl Front Waterfowl Podcast page, listener group, excuse me. So you go into the listener group, request to join, answer the 3 questions, and then you go do the stickied post that's at the top of the page, and it'll say, attention, this is where you enter the Hunt Hickory Creek giveaway, and go ahead, like that post, and you are entered. That's it. That's all you got to do. And then all you have to do after that is tune in on the 5th of July, the day after the 4th of July, to watch the live drawing. Okay, easy enough. Don't miss out on that opportunity. That's huge, huge. Also huge, Grip Pack Calls, GP Calls, feet down, guns up, is giving away a brand new duck call. Now, we'll announce which duck call specifically it is at a later date. A little teaser there for you. Don't want to give you everything all at once. So, in order to qualify for this Grip Pack call, this Grip Pack duck call, all you have to do is go to our Instagram page. Now, you're going to go find our Instagram page, Fowl Front Outdoors, and then Tegan is going to be posting a Grip Pack Calls giveaway photo, and all you have to do is go to that and tag a hunting buddy. And you can either tag a hunting buddy that needs a new call, or you can tag a hunting buddy that doesn't know how to call very well and could probably also use a Grip Pack Calls, because anyone can blow one of those things. So even if you comment and then tag a buddy, you have to come to the group in order to watch the giveaway. Now, if we call your name and you're not in the group, we're going to have to redraw, so don't do that. We'll be doing this giveaway on the actual 4th of July, so stay tuned for when specifically, what times, all these things will be updated on the Waterfowl Podcast listener group. So, okay, let's see. The third drawing we have is Duck Muck Call Lanyards is giving away a brand new custom lanyard. And all you got to do to qualify for that is to call our voicemail at 785-422-9113 and ask a waterfowl hunting question. Ask a waterfowl hunting question that you would like answered on air. And you might hear yourself and get entered for a Duck Muck Call lanyard. They're pretty cool. I think they've posted a couple pictures in the group, but yeah, check them out. And so those of you who have called in for the shotgun reviews, you're not only already entered, but if you call in with a question, that's 2 entries. So once again, drawings are going to be held in the group chat, and this one is going to be conducted on the 3rd of July. So that's the day before the 4th of July, for those of you that were wondering how calendars work. Okay. We will also be doing multiple drawings for window decals and barrel stickers, and as well as maybe a couple foul front t-shirt, maybe a hoodie. Sporadically throughout the week, and most likely concentrated on the 2nd of July. And honestly, to enter, into these drawings, all you got to do is be a part of the group. Super easy. Made it really simple on that one. So if you want to check out what one of those looks like, well, I guess I'll have to post some pictures, or I guess Tegan will have to, pick up the slack if you don't already know what one of those look like. So yeah, we'll be giving away, probably a hoodie, a t-shirt. Obviously, we'll work with you on the size and the color, honestly. But yeah, and then we'll be doing window decals and barrel stickers. We have quite a few that we're going to be giving away. Yeah. Now, here's something that I'm super excited to announce to you guys and gals, too. Sorry, Lydia. Sorry, Megan. My bad. We are also standing up a dedicated listener program. That sounds pretty cool, huh? So those that are in the dedicated listener program, here's what you receive for being a dedicated listener. You receive a window decal or a barrel sticker, either one, whichever one you want. You get 25% off of all the products in the store. And just so you know, that comes out to a huge loss on my end. Okay, anyways, 25% off of any shirts or anything that you want, shirt or a hoodie or anything like that. You also get an in-podcast shout-out. Woohoo! Here's I think probably the part maybe some of you would like. Maybe I'm wrong in this, but you're going to be receiving an early release link for every single episode. So basically, when we finish up editing an episode and then upload it on the servers, like I'm about to do in like 2 minutes, you get a link to listen to it, like right now. So that could be 2 weeks early. Sometimes I get ahead. That could be 2 days early, in case of this episode. But either way, you're listening to it first. And in addition, we'll also probably have some opportunities in the future that will only be offered to those of you in the dedicated listener program. So let me wrap that all up one more time for you. If you qualify to be a dedicated listener, you get a window decal or a barrel sticker. You get 25% off shirts and hoodies, and we don't want to tease it too much, but we do have some hat and some camo stuff coming out in the fall. You get an in-podcast shout-out, and you receive an early release link for every episode. So basically, yeah, when we finish it up, you get it right then and there. Okay. But yeah, and then possibly some future opportunities as well. Now, what do you have to do to be in the dedicated listener program? So, in order to be in our dedicated listener program, you have to go to the website, and you're going to click on the dedicated listener tab up at the top, and there you're going to click the button telling us that you have done all of the following. And this will be detailed in there too, because I'm sure you'll forget and you'll have to go down the list. So the first thing you have to do is make sure you are a member of the Facebook listener group. So, all right. And then the second thing you have to do is you have to have liked our Foul Front Outdoors Facebook page. Yeah, the other one. You have to have shared every episode post from that Foul Front Outdoors page. So like I said, you have to have shared every single episode up to the point where you applied. And number 4, you have to be following our Instagram page. And number 5, you need to be subscribed and have rated and completed a written review on iTunes. And then just let us know what name you reviewed it under. Now, non-Apple users, you're going to just have to indicate that you are an Android user, and then we will get back to you. Now, don't just go sign up and saying that you've done these things if you haven't. Because, myself or Tegan, we're going to have to go in and validate that you actually have done these things, and that would get sort of awkward / really kind of be a bummer and kind of a waste of time. So, like I said, head on over to the website. There's a dedicated listeners tab. And if you're already in your head thinking, I've done all this, give me my discount, give me my barrel sticker, yada, yada, yada. I'm sure Devin Alt is probably, thinking that right now. But, just go in there, apply, and we'll verify. All good. Okay. Last little bit of housekeeping. In the future, you're going to hear some promotions and some advertising tied into the show. Podcasts are expensive, and it takes a lot of resources and time to give stuff away to you guys and help people out. So in order to continue to bring you top-notch quality and a consistent frequency of episodes, we're going to have to sell some ads. Anything that you hear in this podcast is a company that's in good standing with us and that we would have no problem standing behind. So honestly, we're excited to get some of these companies in front of you and to help them out as well. Most of them will be hunting related, obviously, but there will be a few one-offs, and we hope that you'll just bear with us and that you'll actually support the people and the companies that help bring this podcast to you. The outdoors industry is a huge industry, and for those of you who may not be completely versed with all the companies and corporations out there, we hope that we can point you in the right direction to companies that support us, 2, provide absolutely amazing products and customer service, and 3, are necessary and relevant. So like I said, there's a few one-offs here and there that aren't hunting related, but are awesome companies that want to support the show, and honestly, just cool companies. And if you do support these companies with your consumership, let them know how you got there, because it would help us out a lot and would help them out a lot to know where, their marketing dollars are being put to good use. Okay, folks, enough of the housekeeping. I'm sure that was super boring for you. Let's get into discussing waders with Bryan from Gator Waders. All right, today we have Bryan Waite from Gator Waders. He's the director of the hunt division over there. And Bryan, you want to go ahead and give us a little introduction?
So, like Ben said, my name's Bryan Waite. I'm the director of the hunt division for Gator Waders Hunt. We've really started hammering down on the hunt division of our company for the last 3 years, and then we've really started to escalate it quickly the past year and a half, just to try to get advanced a little bit more and pay more attention to it. So, yeah, man, we've been blowing and going for about 3 years now in the hunt division.
Yeah. So how did Gator Waders start out?
So Gator Waders started about 7 years ago. We still do it currently. We're an ATV. We started off in the ATV industry, so four-wheelers, side-by-sides, all the big mud rides. The owner, Justin, rides a lot. Used to ride a lot as a kid, too. Went to an event, basically, and saw that there was a need for women's waders in the ATV industry. So he noticed that all these ladies would be out there in their boyfriends' or husbands' waders, huge, big, baggy waders. Looked horrible. They weren't happy. So he had the idea about doing a crazy wader that fit women's body type. So he did like a zebra with a crazy accent color, a cheetah with an accent color, and kind of just started off doing women's ATV waders. And really not expecting a whole lot, but it just blew up basically. So started there. Then, of course, naturally, when men see that women are getting something that they like, they're going to request it. So we started getting a lot of requests for men's waders. So then Justin then went into the market for men's. And the big thing that we focus on still to this day and did then was really a body type. So we understand that waders used to be cut from a mold. So you'd order a wader and you have your shoe size, order your wader, and hope that the body fits. So a big thing we did was we really sized. We have sizes within our boot size as well. So we started doing men's waders for the ATV industry. And then we did a Max 4 with like a lime green or orange color. So guys would wear it ATV riding. Then hunting season came around naturally. Instead of buying another set of waders, they wear their ATV waders. So they would wear those out. And then, of course, progression of the industry, got request after request after request to focus on a hunting wader. And then 3 years ago, we released our first series of a insulated breathable wader. And then we've just expounded upon it and then made it bigger and better every year since then. So,
right. When we scroll your website, I see a lot of women's waders. I see a lot of fishing waders. And then the ATV line, and then you've also got the hunting waders. Now, you want to talk a little bit, you guys have both neoprene and breathable waders. That's correct, right?
Correct. Yeah. So we have our Shadow series, which is our 5mm neoprene hunting wader. It will come in Max 5 this season. That'll be the only pattern for it in our neoprene line this year. Like I said, it's a 5mm. It'll have 1,000-gram insulated boot on it. So it'll still keep you it'll keep you warm in the wintertime too if you still like that old school neoprene style. Then we'll move into our Shield series, which is going to be our insulated breathable. And then we're also going to release a uninsulated breathable this year as well. It'll come in the Max 5 camo pattern. And then we're re-releasing our timber gray color. We tweaked it a little bit. We had it 2 years ago in our Dr. Duck edition wader. But we retweaked it and we're relaunching it. So all the guys that wear, your Nat gear, Sitka,
right,
mossy oak, anything like that, those hard timber colors will go really great with this wader. So it's a good wader for guys that wear Sitka but can't afford the Sitka wader. We have an option for people now. So, we're trying to just open that door for people.
Right. Now, I'm curious, the big push is, at least what everybody's talking about, is all the breathable waders. Like, it's the way of the future and all this stuff like that. And I'm curious, what's your take on, does neoprene have a future, or why are people, I know people are still buying them, so that's why you're still selling them. But I'm curious as to kind of what your take is.
So it's a tough question. So really, neoprene will always be around. It's almost like a textile thing to some people. So they feel a breathable insulated wader. They feel it's super lightweight. It's a super thin material because it's a polyester material. Mm-hmm. So they feel like it's very easy to penetrate. It's not going to hang on long. It's not warm. It's not this. It's not that. Because they're used to feeling a 5mm neoprene wader, which is super heavy. It's super thick. But there's pros and cons to both. So I'm not going to bash one or the other because they're both great. Neoprene will always be around, I feel. My take on it, just because there's a lot of old school guys that could care less about a breathable wader. They're not worried about it. They like neoprene. They're going to stick with neoprene. It's what their grandfather wore. It's what their father wore, and that's what they're going to wear. And I respect that totally because there's always a market for it. So I feel the new wave definitely is the breathable because it's a threefold thing. One, it's a comfort thing. Two, it's I don't want to say a temperature thing almost. It's a lot more lightweight. You have the capability to insulate and let it breathe also when it's a little bit warmer in the early season. And really, I feel they're just as tough as a neoprene, if not tougher, because of the polyester material that we're using. Especially when you get into the denier, 900 denier is what we use. So if you look at our wader, there'll be a front boot gator that comes down from basically the knee down. It's a 900 denier, super tough material. So if you're walking through the brush, or if you're walking through, thick water, has sticks and everything in it, you're not going to get that direct contact to the front of your wader. So to have that 900 denier, which will take a lot of that beating. The same thing on the rear seat. Guys that sit in water blinds, so they'll go out and walk in the water, come back and sit in their blind. If you're sitting there and you're working birds and you're moving left to right, looking up, you're not going to rub a hole in the seat of your wader either. So right. I feel that neoprene will always be around. I'll be amazed if neoprene dies off, just because, like I said, it's a textile thing for people, and it's a comfort to them almost as well, because they've just grown up around it. So
right. And I know, so I only got in the game about 5 years ago. Okay. And the first pair I bought was breathables. And it wasn't until maybe 2 seasons ago, I had to borrow one of my buddies, one of his neoprenes, and I put that on, and I was amazed at how much more warm I was. And I was like, oh man, like this is pretty nice, especially if you're just driving up to the blind. But
definitely,
yeah.
Yep. Some people, it's all in also in how well the insulated is, or insulation is on the breathable too. So just because it's breathable and it's insulated breathable doesn't mean, because there's some that are a little bit lighter. There's some that are heavier, and then of course neoprene's just thick. So
now
it's not gonna cut.
When you say insulated breathable, and people are reading insulated breathable, you want to talk a little bit about that?
So there's different types of insulated breathables. So I'll just touch on what ours is. So we have a built-in, it's a Primaloft insulation basically. So it's a thermal cotton insulation. I say Primaloft because everyone's familiar with that term and that brand now. It's the same thing. It's just a thermal insulated cotton. So it has the capability to retain heat, but it doesn't conduct heat like a neoprene does. So that's the big thing about neoprene. It's a conductor. That friction will heat up and warm up, and that neoprene will get hot when it's early season. Where at the breathable, you don't have that conductor issue. It'll insulate in the wintertime, but still it gives the capability to breathe and let out all that hot air. So,
right. And I think one thing that you touched on in the very beginning about how you guys size your products, both boots and body fit, I think
correct.
that's pretty, that's a good thing to have, because my family, we tend to have small feet, and I'm a regularly sized guy for 5'11", but everything but my feet. You know what I mean? I think I wear like size 9.5, and so if I get the wader that is for my feet, it's going to be way too snug. So, do you want to talk a little bit about sizing, like how if someone's going to be picking out a Gator wader, what are some of the things that they need to be looking at to find the right product for them?
Yeah, so we try to make it as easy process as possible. So on our website, we include a sizing chart. And with that sizing chart, it basically, if you give us your height, your jean size, so your waist and your inseam, and then your boot size, there's an easy to follow chart that breaks it down where you should be. So in the men's, we have our regular sizing. Then we have our stout sizing. So it's for a shorter, more wider gentleman. Then we have our long sizing, which is for a skinnier, taller gentleman. And then we have our king sizing, which is for a taller, bigger gentleman. And then even with the kings, even some guys that are maybe a little bit shorter and heavier, they can get into the kings. And the good thing is that because it has the capability to come up high, it will have the capability to go out wide, if that makes sense. It may not come up to full chest height on men, but it'll give you the capability to at least get in, waist high in water and still have a wader that's comfortable and fits you well. So,
right. And as far as toughness goes, you were talking about that denier. That's some like military grade stuff. Is that industry standard, or is that something that you guys are utilizing?
So 600 is typically industry. I say that, but we go up to 19. We always try to do things a little bit bigger, just to have that capability to do it and know that our product should last a little bit longer. We do a 900 denier just because we feel like that's the best, and it will last longer and protects harder. So,
right. And talking about making things last, I know 5 seasons right now. I've had 4 different waders. what do we need to be doing in the off season to take care of our waders?
So I know for myself, we have this conversation all the time when we're out at expos with guys and gals both. So I know it's real easy because I used to waterfowl hunt 4 or 5 days a week, and it's real easy to get in a habit of, you get in your waders, you get in the water, you're done hunting, you come out, half the time you're cold. Mm-hmm. So you literally just roll your waders down, throw them in the bed of your truck, and you kick on. And then next time you go hunting, basically pull them back out of the bed of your truck and put them back on. So really, it's like anything that you have that you own. The more you take care of it, the better and longer it's going to last. I found a good habit of mine always is to, every time I'm done hunting, hang them upside down by the boot. Don't hang them by the straps or anything like that. They make wader hangers now that are super cheap and real easy to install. Just slide your boots into it, hang them upside down. I always recommend cleaning them, once a month. Just give them a good, especially if you're out hunting, nasty, murky waters or whatever your terrain is, just keeping them clean. The more clean you keep them, the better care you take care of them, the longer they're going to last. So, if you use and abuse them, of course, you're going to get a season or two out of them. At the end of the day, it's a wader. It's not indestructible by no means. It's the one product for hunting that probably gets hit the hardest is waders. Just because you just put them through, everything you can when you're hunting. So, I just find it good habit to always take care of them, clean them off, rinse them off, hang them up, let them dry properly. A lot of guys will just let them sit out in the sun. And of course, that if you have them rolled up with that moisture, it's going to evaporate and it's going to crack and it's going to dry out the material. So anytime you can take them out, let them breathe, get them cleaned off properly and let them dry properly, the better off you'll be.
Nice. And I always know that when I'm going to pick out waders, obviously fit and camo are some things that, and just the material type, something that everybody looks at. But I wouldn't call them accessories, but the different functionality of like pockets and things like that. Do you want to give us a little bit of a rundown on what y'all provide for the Hunt Series waders?
Yeah, so just a couple quick highlights on the product. So on ours, we'll have the NeoFlex Neoprene underarm gussets, which is right underneath your armpit. So that allows for expansion. So if you're going to wear a T-shirt, your waders still fit you pretty tight up top. Where if you want to throw a quick thick jacket underneath of it, that neoprene gusset allows for that wader to expand a little bit and give you the capability to layer under it a little bit heavier. We include the belt with it. We have a front hand warmer pocket that goes straight through, and then we also have a fleece line insulated pocket that's up top too with a magnet closer that's super deep. So you can open it up if it's those cold days and you're out there blowing your duck calls. You don't want the reeds to freeze up or anything like that. Open up that top pocket, drop your calls down in it, and it'll keep them out of the elements a little bit better. We have a 6-shell holder on the front of the waders. And then we also have a neoprene padded elastic strap, so you don't have those straps sitting dead on your shoulders, which can get tired at times. So we have a padded strap, neoprene padded strap on those as well. So that's a couple of the highlights we have on this year's.
Right. Well, without giving away any proprietary things like that, I'm always kind of curious as to how the production method happens. Basically going from, the materials that you have in your, your warehouse, like how things get kind of put together. Basically, how do you take this material and keep water away from my body,
Yeah, so it's a lot of different moving parts to it without going into too much detail. So like the exterior shell is what's called a hide waterproof breathable exterior shell. And that's what's on the polyester. So of course it's a layering system. So you have your exterior, then you have your insulation, but then inside the waders, of course, there's always like a waterproof taping method that goes around all your seams. So there's a lot of, when you look at a wader, you just think it looks easy to assemble, but there's a lot of moving parts within that wader to get it to the point where you can step off in that water and be confident that you're going to be dry. Without going into too much detail, it is a process. There's a lot of different assembly processes within it, so it's pretty crazy to see. So
yeah, I think it's important what you just said there is there's a lot to it, and there's probably 3 or 4 people that are getting their hands on this thing during different, stages of production. And I think every new waterfowler is always looking at price points and, oh man, I can't drop $300 or $200 on a pair of waders. But I think someone always told me, like, oh, hey, the rule of thumb is for every $100 is how many seasons you're going to get out of it. And that's obviously, that's not true, but it goes into how you care for it. But I think there is something to be said about the lower price points versus the higher price points, because there's a certain threshold where you are cutting corners to get something out the door for $100, or $100, things like that. But do you guys have any sort of I don't know, statistics or advice on how many seasons you can get out of some of your wader lines?
Well, I can tell you that we have people still wearing our edition we did 3 years ago. No complaints, no leaks, no nothing yet. I really feel very strongly it's all in how you take care of your waders, and if you're conscious of your surroundings with them. I mean, if you're conscious of knowing where briars are, you're conscious of knowing, of course, you're going to have to go through some of that stuff if you have to, but there's a lot of situations I feel in the industry that could be avoided by guys just using their brain a little bit more and being conscious of their surroundings and just taking care of something. Because like I said, at the end of the day, it's just like a car. I mean, you don't change the oil, you don't take care of it, it's going to break down eventually. Nothing is indestructible, especially in the hunting industry.
Oh, yeah.
So it's all on who the owner is, man. I could tell you can get 3 years out of this wader, and I can hand it to Joe Blow, who doesn't take care of nothing. He can burn through them in a season, where I can give it to somebody that's conscious of what they're doing, and he can get 2 to 3 years out of them.
Right.
It's a tough thing, because waders, like I said, man, they take a beating, and they're very easy to not take care of. You just don't think about doing it because it's a waterproof material, so you feel you can just throw it and do whatever you want with it, when it's all in how you take care of them.
Yeah, I think it's important too, is those summer months. That's probably where most waders get hurt. They're all crumpled up in the garage with mud sitting on them, and
yep.
So, all right. Well, what do we do? How do we specifically? Okay, let's say I got I've sprung a leak in my waders. What's the best way to go about repairing those, or fixing them, or identifying them?
So, cool thing with us was every pair of waders you buy, it automatically comes with a patch kit. So, of course, you're always going to snag it on the nail in your blind. Like I said, maybe a briar will catch it, something super thick, and rip through it. We will include a patch kit with the waders that comes with all the waders. We also sell in our online store a little bit more higher end patch kit too, to try to help with bigger patches too. There's plenty to go. The cool thing about where we are at right now as a whole is that you can Google basically anything and figure out what the best way is. And then if you feel you don't want to do it, we've kind of gotten away from doing it in house, but we have a third-party service that we use, where if you've done something to your waders, you did it, you don't mind paying for it to get it repaired because you don't want to pay for a brand new set. You can send them to us, and then we actually will ship them off to get repaired for you and then send them back to you.
Oh, awesome. Well, what cool stuff does Gator Waders have coming up here in the next couple months? I know this is kind of the time of the year when things start, kicking off and
Yep.
Gear starts coming out. What do you guys got going on?
So I kind of touched on it earlier. So in the past, we've only had an insulated breathable. This year, we're actually going to be launching the Shield series and the uninsulated breathable. We're launching our gray color, like I mentioned earlier, as well. We also have some new products along with the uninsulated coming out this year. So we'll actually have our Shield series uninsulated waist wader, which is a great option for all the guys that are in, like the Arkansas and the rice fields, where you don't need a full wader, or early season teal where you're not in that deep of water. They're a great uninsulated wader. It'll come with a 600 grams insulated boot, so it'll keep your feet warm if you want to use them later in the season in the rice field, so you're not going to be super cold. But it's a uninsulated breathable wader. It's got a suspender system with it, so they're really cool. That'll be coming out soon. We're launching our hunt line in our bog hoodies. So that was an ATV product that we had last year. So what it is a half zip, 100% waterproof, windproof hoodie. It'll be fleece lined, kind of the same coral fleece that's inside our waders will be inside these. It'll be in a Max 5 color and like an olive dark green color too.
Yeah, I actually have one sitting in my cart right now. I'm looking at it. I was going to have you actually talk about that a little bit. What weight is that?
Like the jacket itself, the actual weight of it.
Yeah, the what temperatures would I be just wearing that alone?
So it's all, again, that's a personal preference thing. I could give that to one of my buddies. I know that would wear nothing underneath of it, where I would be wearing a hoodie underneath of it. It really is. They're super warm. I wore one last season. And to be honest with you, I was sweating with just a T-shirt on underneath mine. Now, when I was up in Maryland doing some hunting, and they keep you pretty warm, man. They're super nice. But the cool thing is, it's also not a super heavy, thick jacket either, where it takes up. You put on some of these later season jackets, and it fills out like the Michelin Man, and you just feel super lunky. It's hard to raise your gun and shoulder it with all the insulation that's in it. It's really hard to maneuver with this thing. I mean, your maneuverability is unmatched, really. Yeah. It's got up high, nice chest pockets. So if you're wearing your waders, most guys typically, when they're trying to warm their hands, slide them in right there up high anyways on their chest. So we actually have a built-in fleece lined hand warmer pocket right there.
Oh, that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah. It's got a nice on the wrist. It's got like a neoprene wrist on it as well. So really, it's an adjustable neoprene wrist cuff, basically. So you can slide your hand.
And the whole thing's waterproof?
Yep, whole thing's waterproof.
Because I always run into the thing is that, I've got my big jacket that I wear that it's waterproof and it's warm as heck. But when I'm making the trek down there, I'm not wearing that thing. And then I always find that I'm always taking that jacket off once I get inside my layout blind, especially on the days where it promised to be a little colder, but now it's not. I just need something other than my, my little Under Armour long sleeve that I have that is not waterproof. So
yep. It's fully waterproof, and like I said, it'll breathe as well. It's not super tough. It's not super heavy. It's a nice right in between jacket, man, where if it's super cold in the negatives, you can throw a nice one of our hoodies on underneath of it and be perfectly good. If it's warm and you still want a little bit of that protection, or it's in like the 50s or 60s, you're still comfortable inside this jacket as well, with not so much underneath of it.
Right. And it's got a pretty good price point on it.
Yep.
So, but yeah.
Yes, sir. A couple other items we'll have out this year is we're also going to be releasing our Scout Series gloves. We'll also be releasing our Bonfire 2.0 hoodies. It's just a nice higher end hoodie for, like I said, if you don't want to wear a full jacket, this hoodie will keep you nice and warm out there. It'll come in like a Max 5 upper with a timber bottom. And then we'll also have a timber color, a reed color for the guys that hunt in all those cornfields. If you want a nice hoodie just to wear out, and then a moss color this year. We'll also be releasing the Fleet Huntsman series of the beanie and neck gaiter too. So we have a lot of good products this year coming out.
Awesome. Well, this is, when it comes to waders, and there's, everybody talks about it's either they're buying, they want the super high end stuff that's coming out, the price points are crazy, or there's everybody else below us that, we're just scrapping by to try to get a decent pair of waders. And I think you guys are right there on the you're within reach for the neophyte hunter, the people that are just starting out. So what advice do you have for someone that has never even bought a pair of waders before? They're just getting into waterfowl hunting, and then they're going to pick out their first set. I'm a big guy of research and reviews. That's the cool thing about us, man. And there's something to be said from buying. There's something about just buying a set of waders and knowing what you're going to get if you have an issue with them. Customer service nowadays is what can make or break a company. We try to make a huge point to be standing beside our customers when they have an issue. So I always look for reviews when it comes to customer service from the company.
which you'll find ours are through the roof. And then I also, you want to do your research on what you're getting for the money. And then the cool thing about nowadays is there's Facebook pages for anything under the sun when it comes to waterfowl hunting. I mean, you could just post a question, hey, what's your thoughts on X brand of waders? And you're going to get some pretty honest reviews very fast on those things. And the cool thing about our company is, for the most part, you're always going to have somebody that's always disgruntled that's going to come with anything you sell. But for the most part, we have great customer reviews where they'll highly recommend us. We're at the lower end of the price point for the type and the quality of wader that you're going to get. So we feel that we're right there at we have the average Joe pricing, but you're getting the high end model basically. So it's a win-win with us because customer service is huge for us, and again, our price point is right there where we're competitive with all the other big dogs in the game, but we feel we have a better product. So
right. And where can I get my hands? Where's some third-party stuff? Where are you guys at? Where can we physically put hands on material?
So we do a lot of summer expos. So this year we'll be in Louisiana, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Maryland, Arkansas. So we're going to be around at expos, all the bigger hunting expos there in your area we'll most likely be at. When it comes to brick and mortar mom and pop shops, we have some. The easiest way to get that information is you can go on our website, and we actually have a retailer's link where you can click on it, and then there's a certain color, I think it's like a bubble that's above the location that'll show you if they carry our hunting products. So you can click it, see if it's somebody in your area. We do have a good bit of retailers out now. We're trying to expand that a little bit, so guys that do want to go into these stores and try them on, they can. They'll have the capability to do that.
Awesome. Now, who are some of the companies that you guys affiliate with that you support, like some of your promotional staffers maybe, or some of the people that, we could look to check out your gear being used?
So some of the bigger names that we'll be working with this year, Fouled Reality, they'll be wearing our products. Small Town Hunting, they'll be wearing our products. Passionate Pursuit, they wear our products. That's some of the bigger, well-known guys in the industry. They'll be wearing our stuff. And then, of course, you can always check out our reviews online on the website and everything. But, yeah, for as long as the industry guys go, that's probably our three biggest hitters this season.
Okay, awesome.
Oh, and actually, we'll have the guys from Halo Waterfowl this year as well.
Oh,
Greg Camp, Riley, Green, and all of them. They'll be wearing them this year as well.
Right. Nice. And you guys have some pretty cool videos just yourself out there. I was checking out. And then we can find you on Facebook, just Gator Waders, and then Instagram, right?
Yep. So we have our Facebook, which is just Gator Waders, and then on Instagram we have Gator Waders and Gator Waders Hunt on. So we have a hunt Instagram as well that highlights a lot of our hunting products. So you can find us on those social media outlets as well. And then, kind of like you said, we'll have two to three videos we'll be shooting this year, just kind of ourself, just highlighting some of our products that we'll be releasing next year as well. So
nice. Well, what waders are you wearing out in the blind? Personally?
I wear our Shield. I actually wear the Shield series, insulated breathable and uninsulated breathable, depending on where I'm at and when. Early season, I'll wear our uninsulated. I got to use them last year prototype wise in the early season. They were super comfortable, lightweight, and kept you cool. But I use our breathable line, the Shield series.
Okay. All right. Well, before we get going, is there anything else you want to hit on?
I think that's it, man. Just
all right.
Want to thank you for having me on, giving us a chance to give our products a shout out. Our website's www.gatorwaders.com. Super easy to find us. We have a huge social media presence. We're really hard to miss. So anybody ever has any questions, we're really easy to get a hold of too. So.
Right. And that's one of the reasons that, we brought you on was because we like to try to find companies that are within a reasonable price point for the newer blue-collared hunters that provide, top-notch quality. And that's what all my research and Destin has found. So it's really good to be able to know that, I think I emailed you last week and you called me within a day. So you weren't kidding about your customer experience. And I'm just really looking forward to fielding some of your stuff this year and, moving forward.
Awesome. Sounds great.
All right. Well, Bryan, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, buddy. Hope you guys have a good day.
You too. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Foul Front Waterfowl Podcast. Please come join us on our Facebook group, the Foul Front Waterfowl Podcast group, where you can connect with a good group of hunters, because we're all in this together. We need to act like it so that hopefully our great grandkids will be hunting ducks over our favorite public lands. We also ask that you go ahead and give us a written review on iTunes and give us 5 stars if you think we deserve it. And we really do want to hear back from you so that we can give you the best possible content. And if you get in on that Facebook group, you can get in there and you can ask questions and you can tell us what you want to hear next, or you can tell us what you don't like, and we'll be sure to tailor things to our listeners. So, all right. Stay safe out there, and we will see you next week. Whoa, bonus content. So, just wanted to retouch on a few things that maybe have gotten away from us. So head on over to High Prairie Sportsman on the YouTube channel. Some really, really great stuff going on there. And we also wanted to start doing this thing at the end of the episode where we kind of like tease a little bit what we're going to be talking about the next week. And hopefully, you guys can discuss that in the Waterfowl Podcast listener group. So next week, we're going to be talking about things that go boom. Things that, we already talked about it. We're going to be talking about duck guns next week. Pretty sweet. We got a listener coming on. Actually, we've got several listeners coming on. One actually live, one or 3 or 4 from voicemails that are actually getting on the podcast that are now entered in the competition. And then we've got Tegan and Derek in studio along with Wade. So, yeah.